Nquavius.
Can you hear me in the jail? On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Calvin Stalker, 25-005, I'm sorry, 454, SM, appearance, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Tiffany DeBruin on behalf of Calvin Stackreef. What I will say, that he is appearing via Zoom. I apologize, Judge. I just got out of court, so I'm appearing in my vehicle.
No problem. Okay, Mr. Stalker, if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
It was a date scheduled for arraignment. I do have a misdemeanor complaint here. The allegations are that on or about January 6, 2025, at the area of 619 Bartlett, which is in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you allegedly committed the act in count 1 of domestic violence aggravated, that you did assault an Ardra Kathleen Conklin, a resident or former resident of your household, or an individual with whom you had a child in common, or an individual with whom you had a dating relationship, without a weapon, but did inflict serious or aggravated injury upon her, but without intending to commit murder or to inflict great bodily harm less than murder, and that this was contrary to MCL 750.8182. That is a misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is 1 year in jail and or $1,000 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. You understand the charge and the maximum penalty, sir?
Sure.
You have the right in this matter to be represented by counsel, and it appears you have retained counsel by way of Ms. DeBruin for this matter. And I do have an appearance and demand located here in the file. You have the right to have representation throughout the pendency of the criminal prosecution, and the right to be represented by an attorney if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you can't afford to hire an attorney, you could make a request at any time for the public defender's office to be appointed at the expense of the public, okay?
Yes.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and anything that you put in writing can be used against you. So you can plead guilty, plead not guilty, or stand mute. If you stand mute, this matter will continue to a jury trial. And you have the right to hold your jury trial. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. So you have the right to require the prosecutor prove each element of the charge being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You can maintain your silence at trial and not have that silence be used against you. You can waive the silence and testify at your trial if you like. You have the right to subpoena witnesses that will testify on your behalf at your trial and present evidence that you believe show defense to the charge being brought against you. You also have the right to see, hear, and question any of the witnesses that the prosecutor calls to testify against you. Do you have any questions at this time? You're currently scheduled for a pretrial conference before Judge Cynthia Ward Tuesday, May 13th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You should have received Zoom instructions and your notice to appear. You can appear by Zoom or in person.
Okay.
The court will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What's that? Where are you employed?
Oh, McDonald's.
What's your home address?
619 Bartlett.
Okay, is that the address of Ardra Conklin?
Yes, ma'am. We're still living together as of right now.
Okay, you won't be able to stay there during the pendency of the matter if she's staying there. So where are you going to stay?
I have a place in Grand Rapids.
What's the address?
615 Comstock Boulevard.
What's your phone number?
616-655-8811.
Are you currently on probation or on parole?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any other criminal matters pending at this time?
No, ma'am.
counsel, you can address John.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have been in contact with Audra Conklin. She was supposed to appear via Zoom to address the no contact order. We were under the mistaken impression that the court would be handling these arraignments between 1 and 1:15 this afternoon. So I do not believe she is. I tried to call her right before I got on and she didn't answer, went to voicemail. I tried to send her a text message. I do believe she does want to be heard with regard to the no contact order. They have been living together since this incident occurred. With regard to MCR 6.106, Mr. Stockreef has parents A, he has absolutely no criminal history, no convictions. He's never failed to appear for a court hearing or absconded to avoid prosecution with regard to parents B. Parents C, there is no any history of substance abuse addiction or really use. There's no, as far as mental health, there are some general depression and anxiety diagnoses, but they're being addressed with medication and therapy. With regard to employment, again, Judge, he just recently secured a job as a cook at McDonald's. He's been there for 4 months and he did move to be with Audra. So that's part of the problem. If he is made to move to Grand Rapids during the pendency of the case, he's going to lose the job that he has. Responsible members of society, again, this is something where I think Audra would vouch for him if she was able to be on the Zoom meeting, but unfortunately, again, I think she was planning on doing this in about an hour. He doesn't have a lot of ties to the community here except for her because they're in a romantic relationship, and it's my understanding, pursuant to speaking with her, that they intend to continue that regardless of the outcome of this case. As far as ties to the community and parents H, he does have a job. He has he's been here for about 6 or 7 months, and he has a connection to some young folks, Silas and Ezra. Judge, I will just say I would ask that the court consider not placing the no contact order, or if it does place an order with regard to contact, that it would allow for peaceable contact and allow him to remain in the home. Again, this is a 1-year misdemeanor that we're talking about, so I just respectfully request that from the court. Otherwise, a PR bond, because again, absolutely no criminal history, no other issues, and this is not a teenager or a young 20-something that we're talking about here, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. The defendant is being charged with an aggravated domestic violence. I recognize there's no additional criminal history, but I'm not going to deviate from the no contact order or putting an order in place for the protection of the victim absent not only a statement from the alleged victim, but the prosecutor would need to be present to be heard on that motion as well. And so you all can renew your motion for any release of that no contact order before Judge Ward. But as it states today, bond will be set in the amount of 1,000 personal recognizance. There is a no contact order in protection for the place of protection for the purpose of protecting Audra Conklin. So you're not to have contact directly or indirectly with her until the time that the no contact order is lifted. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're not to reside in the address where she lives. You're not to be within 2,000 feet of wherever she lives, works, or goes to school. Do you have any questions about that? Also, while out on bond, you need to report to all of your court dates not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Do you have any questions at this time? Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor. I'm
You're
sorry,
all-
just one final thing. Did you say May 13th at 9 a.m.?
Let's see your date in there. That's correct.
Thank you. That is all.
Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Starkey.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Jose Alvarez, 25-00835. Then I have 25L29100110I. Appearance, please.
Good afternoon, Mike Mataloni on behalf of Jose Alvarez. And you don't have an appearance in the file yet, Judge, because I was retained on this just recently. And I will have my office take care of that first thing.
Okay, Mr. Alvarez, I have here file number 25-00835, a misdemeanor complaint. The allegations are that on or about February 23rd, 2025 at 3725 Christensen Road, that's in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you allegedly committed the act in count 1 of domestic violence, and that you made an assault or assault and battery upon a Skylar Danielle Alvarez, a resident or former resident of your household, or an individual to whom you have a child in common, or your spouse, and that this was done contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.812. Restitution may be ordered as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. Count 1 is a misdemeanor and the maximum penalty is 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. You understand the charge that I read and the maximum penalty, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have the right to counsel. Mr. Mataloni is representing you now, and I assume you've been retained, or if you've retained him for the pendency of this matter, but you do have the right to counsel throughout the criminal prosecution, and the right to be represented by an attorney if you are questioned by law enforcement, and if you cannot afford to hire an attorney throughout the pendency of this matter, you can make a request at any time to have the public defender's office appointed at no expense to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, at this time, my client would enter a plea of not guilty to the charge.
Thank you. The court will enter a plea of not guilty. You have the right to remain silent, Mr. Alvarez. Anything you say and anything you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty, plead not guilty, or stand mute. If you stand mute, the matter will continue all the way through to a jury trial, and you have the right to hold that jury trial and require the prosecutor prove each element of the charge of domestic violence beyond a reasonable doubt. You can maintain your silence at trial and not have that silence be used against you. You can call witnesses to trial that will testify on your behalf, and you have the right to see, hear, and question any witness that the prosecution calls to testify against you. Do you have any questions about those rights?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're currently scheduled for a pre-trial conference before Judge Tony Flores Tuesday, May 6th at 9:30 in the morning. You should have received Zoom instructions as well as a notice to appear. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, are you employed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where?
Davis Construction.
What's your home address?
3725 Christensen Road.
Is that the address of Skylar Alvarez as well?
Yes.
Where will you stay during the pendency of this matter, because you can't stay at the same address as Skylar?
1010 Beach Street, Lansing, Michigan.
What's your phone number?
580-272-8230.
Are you on probation or on parole?
Oh, Your Honor.
I have file number 25L29100011. That's an expired plate violation from January 14th, 2025. You owe $198. When do you intend to pay?
Oh, the ticket. Oh, I can
If
pay
you
that as soon
can,
as I can.
if you can, Mr. Alvarez, why don't you try to pay that today?
Yeah, I can pay that as soon as I get out.
I don't know if I can pay that today. Bond on the domestic violence is set in the amount of 500 personal recognizance. There will be a no contact order in place for the protection of Skylar Alvarez. So you're not allowed to have contact directly or indirectly with Ms. Alvarez. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not to be within 2,000 feet of wherever Ms. Alvarez is. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to use drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and you're not to possess a firearm, ammunition, or dangerous weapon. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, of course, you need to report to all of your court dates, but Mr. Mataloni will keep you on top of that. Mr. Mataloni, did you want to add anything for the record?
No, Judge, thank you very much. Have a good day.
You're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the record in the matter, you're free to go, Mr. Alvarez. On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Aaron Artis, 25-01141, appearance, please.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Riley appearing on behalf of Mr. Artis for the purpose of this arraignment.
Okay, you're Aaron Artis.
Yes.
Okay, I have a felony complaint here that charges you in count 1 with home invasion, 3rd degree. It alleges that on or about April 15, 2025 at 5900 Witchwood Apartment D12, that's in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you did allegedly break and enter or did enter without permission a dwelling located at 5900 Witchwood Street, apartment D12, and while entering, present in, or exiting the dwelling, did commit malicious destruction of personal property less than 200, which is a misdemeanor, and or disorderly person window peeper, a misdemeanor, and that was contrary to MCL 750.11A4. Count 1 is a felony, maximum penalty 5 years in prison and or $2,000 in fines. You understand the charge that was read in the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, you have the right to counsel. Mr. Rowley is going to represent you today for your arraignment, but you have the right to have an attorney with you to represent you if you're questioned by law enforcement and at all of your court appearances. And if you can't afford to hire an attorney, you can make a request to have the public defender's office appointed at the expense of the public. You understand your right to counsel?
Yes.
Is he requesting the public defender's office?
Yes, it is.
Okay, the court's gonna enter a plea of not guilty, but you do have the right to plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute. If you stand mute, the matter will continue all the way to jury trial. You are being charged with a felony to, excuse me?
Guilty.
I've entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf. You are being charged with a felony, so you have the right to have a preliminary examination within 21 days of today's date, unless you waive the 21 days or the court finds good cause to go beyond the 21 days. You're currently scheduled for a probable cause conference before Judge Cynthia Ward on Thursday, April 24th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You have a preliminary examination before Judge Ward on May 1st at 9 a.m. You must appear in person for the preliminary examination. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. You have the right at the time of your preliminary examination to require that the prosecutor on the record establish sufficient probable cause that a felony was committed and then sufficient probable cause to charge you as the individual who committed the felony. If this matter proceeds beyond that stage, you have the right again to do a jury trial and the right to maintain innocence. You are innocent until proven guilty, and you have the right to require that the prosecutor prove your guilt by first proving each element of the charge being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You can again, maintain your silence at trial and not have that be used against you. You have the right to subpoena witnesses to your trial to testify on your behalf, and the right to present evidence that show a defense to this charge, and the right to question or cross-examine in court any of the witnesses called to testify against you. Do you have any questions about those rights?
No,
Are you currently on probation or on parole?
no,
Okay. Are you employed?
yes, for a temp service. It's called sparing. Sparing.
What's your home address?
216 Rio Ave. Apartment 1.
In Lansing?
Yes.
What's your phone number?
As of now, I don't have a phone, but I can use my mother's phone number. That's
What's her
why.
number?
517-619-9804.
You can address bond counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. After speaking with Mr. Artis, I can report that he has lived in Lansing essentially his entire life. His family is here, including, as he noted, his mother. I don't believe he's a flight risk. I've seen nothing to suggest that he would be. Also, I'm not aware of any history of violent or assaultive conduct by Mr. Artis. I don't think there's an allegation of violent, assaultive, or threatening conduct in this case. I don't believe he's a dangerous individual. So for those reasons, my request would be for personal recognizance bond.
Bond in this matter is set in the amount of 500 personal recognizance. There will be bond conditions that you not be within 2,000 feet of the address of 5900 Richwood Street. You need to report to all of your court dates. You're not to travel outside of the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to use drugs or alcohol. And you're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. And you must report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any
It's a
questions?
misunderstanding, though. No, I don't have
Okay.
no questions. It's just a misunderstanding.
Okay, thank you. You're all set, sir.
All right, thank you.
You message and find out who's in the room. On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Cameron Anderson, 25-01139 FY, appearance please.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Riley appearing on behalf of Mr. Anderson for the purpose of this arraignment.
Cameron Anderson? Are you Cameron Anderson?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a felony complaint here that alleges that on or about April 12th, at the area of Coleman Ave at or near Morris River Drive in Lansing, Michigan, that you allegedly committed the act in count 1 of carjacking, and that you did in the course of committing a larceny of a Dodge Charger, a motor vehicle, put in fear, use force or violence against and use of the threat of force or violence against a Michael Rios, the operator of the motor vehicle, and this was contrary to MCL 750.529. Count 1 is a felony. The maximum penalty is life or any term of years. Your DNA is to be taken upon arrest, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed for any other conviction arising from the same transaction. Count 2 charges you with weapons carrying concealed, and it alleges that on or about April 15th at East Kalamazoo at Mifflin Ave in Lansing, Michigan, that you did allegedly carry a dangerous weapon, that being a pistol, concealed on or about your person, contrary to MCL 750.227, and that's a felony. The maximum penalty is 5 years or $2,500 in fines and a mandatory forfeiture of the weapon or device. Do you understand the charges that were read in the maximum penalty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented for the purpose of your arraignment by the Office of the Public Defender. You have the right to counsel, and if you can't afford to have an attorney with you while you appear in court or while you're questioned by law enforcement, you can make a request to have the Public Defender's Office appointed at no expense to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say and anything you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty, plead not guilty, or stand mute. And if you stand mute, this matter will proceed all the way through to a jury trial. You have the right to a preliminary examination in this matter because you are being charged with 2 felonies. And as to each count that are felonies, you have the right to hold your examination and require the prosecutor establish on the record that they have sufficient probable cause that the felonies were committed, and then sufficient probable cause to charge you as the individual who committed those felonies. You understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to proceed to a jury trial and the right to the presumption of innocence. So you are innocent, sir, until proven guilty, and you can require the prosecutor prove your guilt by proving each element of the charges being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to remain silent at your trial, and they can't use the silence against you. You can waive your silence and testify at trial if you like, and you also have the right to subpoena witnesses that will testify to trial on your behalf, and the right to see, hear, and question in court any witness called to testify against you. You're currently scheduled to be before me, Judge Kristen Simmons, on Thursday, April 24th at 2 p.m. for a probable cause conference. You have a preliminary examination before me Thursday, May 1st, 10 o'clock in the morning. You must appear in person for that. You should have received notice to appear and Zoom instructions for my courtroom. Did you receive that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have the right to have your exam on that date, which is 21 days from today's date, unless you waive that timeline or the court finds good cause to go beyond the 21 days. Is he requesting court-appointed counsel, Mr. Raleigh?
Yes, he is.
The court's going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Are you employed?
No, ma'am.
How do you support yourself?
Family.
What's your home address?
3913 Brighton Drive.
And your phone number?
517-803-0271.
Are you on probation or on parole?
No, ma'am.
You can address bond counsel.
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Anderson tells me that he's lived in Lansing his whole life. His family is in Lansing. I have no reason to believe he would be a flight risk. I'm also not aware of any record of violent or assaultive conduct on his part. although of course I am aware that there are very serious allegations of such conduct in this case. And this, he's facing charges that carry very significant maximum penalty. So at this time, my request would be for a 10% bond.
Okay, the court did receive, in this particular case, a pretrial services pre-arraignment bond recommendation report. And if the report highlights that some of the information that you shared, the defendant being 19 years old, but having been a resident for Ingham County approximately for 15 years, he's unemployed, doesn't have a financial means, he's completed high school, but is not in the military at this time. It states here that there is a concern about the serious nature of the offense, and to ensure the defendant's return to court and for the safety of the community, pretrial services respectfully request a deviation from the risk assessment bond, and that personal recognizance bond would not be recommended in this case. Due to the type of the charge, there's a lack of employment here, but there's a violent nature in the allegations. Also, other consideration is that the defendant does have a prior criminal history from the juvenile docket. The court is going to issue a bond in the amount of 50,000 cash surety with GPS tether. While out on bond, you are restricted to home arrest, and you are not to travel outside the state. You're not to use drugs or alcohol. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You must report to pretrial services within 48 hours of release on bond. And you're not to have contact directly or indirectly with a Michael Rios. Do you have any questions about your bond?
No, man.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
You're all set. On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Dantarius Mans, this is file number 25-01140. Have your appearance, please.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Raleigh appearing on behalf of Mr. Mans for the purpose of this arraignment.
You're Dantarius Mans. Okay, Mr. Mans, I have a felony complaint here. And the allegations are that on or about April 15, 2025, at the area of East Kalamazoo at or near Mifflin Ave, which is in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you allegedly committed count 1 of weapons carrying concealed, and that you did carry a dangerous weapon, that being a pistol, concealed on or about your person, and that this was contrary to MCL 750.227. That's a felony with the maximum penalty being 5 years or $2,500 in fines and a mandatory forfeiture of the weapon or device under the law. You understand the charge and the maximum penalty?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to counsel. If you can't afford to hire an attorney, you can make a request to have the public defender's office appointed at no expense to you. You have the right in this matter to proceed to a preliminary examination within 21 days, unless you waive that timeline or unless the court finds good cause to go beyond the 21 days. You have the right to require the prosecutor establish as to each felony count that they have sufficient probable cause that a felony was committed and sufficient probable cause to charge you as the individual who committed the felony. If this matter proceeds beyond that, you proceed to a trial and you have the right to your jury trial. You are innocent until proven guilty, and you have the right to proceed to trial and require the prosecutor prosecutor prove your guilt by proving each element of the charge of carrying a concealed weapon beyond a reasonable doubt. You can maintain your silence at your trial and they can't use that against you. You have the right to see, hear, or question any witness if they call to testify against you, the right to subpoena witnesses that will testify as to your defense, and the right to waive your silence and testify on your own behalf. Do you have any questions about those rights?
No,
Is he requesting the public defender's office, Mr. Raleigh?
Yes, yes.
The court will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Are you employed?
no,
How do you pay your bills?
no,
Excuse me?
ma'am.
I said, how do you pay your bills?
I live with my mom.
Oh, your mom pays your bills?
Yeah,
Oh, what's your address?
2452 Real Road.
2452 what?
Real Road.
Oh. What's your phone number?
517-356-1477.
You're currently scheduled for probable cause conference. It's gonna be on Thursday, April 24th at 9:30 before Judge Tony Flores, and you have a preliminary examination before Judge Flores on Thursday, May 1st at 9:30 in person at the court. You should have received your notice to appear before Judge Flores. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation or on parole?
Probation.
For which court?
Mason.
55th District Court?
Yes, ma'am.
You can address bond counsel.
Your Honor, Mr. Mans informs me that he has lived in Lansing his whole life. His family is here, including, as he just mentioned, his mother. I certainly don't believe he's a flight risk. I'm also not aware of any record of violent or assaultive conduct, and I don't believe there are any such allegations in this case. I don't believe he's a dangerous individual. And for those reasons, my request would be personal recognizance bond.
I don't know that personal recognizance bond is appropriate if he's already under court order that includes not holding a or possessing a weapon and the allegations that he possessed a weapon while he's already in court order. That prohibits him from having a personal recognizance bond. Bond in this matter will be set in the amount of 10,000, 10%. I don't know if he's got a probation hold before 55th or if they've been alerted to this yet, but I'm sure if they haven't, they'll be alerted soon. While out on bond, you need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon or ammunition. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You will be ordered to be on GPS tether with house arrest. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor.
You're all set. On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Nquavius Collins, I have 25-00338. This is not on my list. Is it supposed to be for today? I'll ask them again. Nquavius Collins,
Yes.
counsel of appearance, please.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Raleigh appearing on behalf of Mr. Collins for the purpose of this arraignment.
Collins, I have a misdemeanor complaint that alleges that on or about December 15th, 2024 at 405 South Butler Boulevard, apartment 14 in Lansing, Michigan, that you allegedly committed the act of domestic violence and that you did make an assault or assault and battery upon a Precious Diamond Smith, a resident or former resident of your household, or individual with whom you had a child in common, or individual with whom you had a dating relationship, and that this was contrary to Michigan compiled law 750.812. That is a misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed under MCL 750.506A if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Do you understand the charge and the maximum penalty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have the right in this matter to counsel, and Mr. Raleigh is representing you today for the purpose of your arraignment. You have the right to have an attorney represent you at all of your court hearings and appearances, and the right to be represented by an attorney if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you can make a request to have the public defender appointed at no expense to you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence, so you're innocent until proven guilty. You can take this matter all the way to a jury trial and require the prosecutor prove each element of the charge being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You can maintain your silence at your trial and they can't use that against you. You can call witnesses to testify or present evidence at trial that you think show a defense to this charge. And you have the right to see, hear, and question in court any witness called to testify against you. Do you have any questions about those rights? I'm sorry?
Said no, ma'am.
Okay, you have a pretrial conference before Judge Stacia Buchanan Monday, April 28th at 9:30 in the morning. You should have received a notice to appear for that court date. Is that accurate, sir? I don't hear a response.
I said yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Raleigh, is he requesting court-appointed counsel?
Yes, he is.
The court is entering a not guilty plea on your behalf, Mr. Collins. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Where?
I'm self-employed in BMW auto repair.
What's your home address?
2117 Pleasant View Avenue.
Repeat that.
2117 Pleasant View Avenue.
Is that the home address of Precious Smith?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What's your phone number?
517-242-7675.
Are you on probation or on parole?
No, ma'am.
I don't see anything else on his criminal history. You don't have any other court dates pending, correct?
Ma'am.
Bond in this matter is set in the amount of 500 personal recognizance. There's a no contact order protecting Precious Smith. You're not to have contact directly or indirectly with Precious Smith. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to be within 2,000 feet of wherever she is.
Okay.
You need to appear for all of your court dates. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to possess a firearm, ammunition, or weapon of any kind. You're not to use alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. Do you have any questions about your bond?
No, ma'am.
I have here file number TD 2401143 and TG 240126661. You owe $198 on each of those. Are you paying these today?
Yes, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
You're all set, sir. On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Jasmine Kowalk, 24-00010 SM. I also have a 24-01660 and then 24-01269. Counsel appearance.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Riley appearing on behalf of Ms. Kowalk for the purpose of this arraignment.
Ms. Kowalk, you were supposed to be before me last May, last July, for a final pretrial. You failed to appear. What happened?
I just didn't know the days, and I've had a lot of like things going on where I just took care of other things. So now it's caught up to me and I have to take care of it now.
What do you mean you didn't know the day? I told you the day.
Ma'am, I've had a lot of things happen within this year, really. So I just apologize, but I don't really have a direct answer other than I've just had a lot on my plate other than that.
File number 24-01660, you failed to appear for arraignments. It was a driving while license is not valid or proper. I have a citation here that alleges that on or about May 24th, 2024 at 9:42 p.m. at the area at or near West Michigan and La Homa Street in Lansing, Ingham County, that you allegedly operated a motor vehicle while your license was not valid or not proper. That is a misdemeanor. Maximum penalty 90 days and or $500 in fines. You have the right to be represented by an attorney and the right to a trial. You can have a jury trial, and you have the right to require that the city in this matter prove each element of the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. You can maintain your silence and not have silence be used against you. You have the right also to question any witness that they call to testify against you, and the right to present evidence or your own witnesses at trial. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this is a city attorney file. They typically will allow or dismiss the matter if you can show at your first court appearance, which would be your next court date, that you have a valid license. You're currently scheduled for a pre-trial conference before me, May 6th at 10:30 in the morning. Is she requesting court-appointed counsel?
Yes, she is, Your Honor.
Entering a not guilty plea on your behalf. As to the assault and battery that you failed to appear for last July, you have a final pretrial. You need to appear in person. That's going to be May 19th at 8 a.m. What's your next court dates?
My next court dates?
Well,
Fine.
they're not mine.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. May 6th and May 19th.
Thank you. I have file number 24-01-01269 OM. There's a bench warrant that was issued because you owe $126. When are you paying that?
I could pay it in the next 2 weeks.
Counsel, you can address bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. After speaking with Ms. Kowalk, she reports that she has lived in Lansing her whole life. Of course, her family is here. She's working locally. I don't believe she has a record or any convictions for violent or assaultive conduct. Although I know, of course, she does have the pending assault case. But obviously I'm aware of her previous failures to appear. At this time, my request would be for a low 10% bond.
No, I don't know, because your client, I told her myself what her next court dates were, and the only excuse is she had a lot on her plate. And so if she has a lot on her plate now, that would make her a flight risk. So I don't know what's on her plate. Are you able to get yourself to court, Ms. Kowalk, or do you got too much going on?
Ma'am, I do have a way to get to court, and I'm getting my life together as we speak, so I would be able to take care of all this.
Okay, I've given you your next court date. You'd also received notices to appear, so you would not be able to rely on the excuse that you didn't have the notices because we provided them in 2 different forms. I am going to give you a bond on the assault and battery, 500 personal recognizance. You need to report to your next court date. Otherwise, there won't be a personal recognizance bond anymore. On the driving while license is suspended, the bond is 200 personal recognizance. And you need to report to that court date. All your previous bond conditions for file number 240010, which was the assault and battery, that included a no contact order for a Desiree Kowalk, that will continue. Do you have any questions about your bond?
Yes, what, like, can I get 10% on that, or like I've never had to?
I gave you personal recognizance. That means you don't have to pay anything.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're all set. I do not have Ibrahim on my Ukambukwa on my list, but is he in the jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is the state of Michigan versus Ibrahim Mumba. That's 25-00975. Appearance, please.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Raleigh, appearing on behalf of Mr. Mkumbukwa for the purpose of this arraignment.
So Mkumbukwa, I have a misdemeanor complaint that alleges that on or about February 23rd, 2025 at 539 East Edgewood, apartment 1201, Lansing, Michigan, 48911, that you did make an assault or assault and battery upon a Mariamo Musa, an individual with whom you had a dating relationship. And this is contrary to MCL 750.812. Restitution may be ordered as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's personal property or physical injury or death to another individual. That's a misdemeanor. 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. You understand the charge and the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, you have the right to counsel. If you can't afford to hire an attorney, you can request a public defender to represent you at no expense to you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence, so you're innocent until the prosecutor can prove your guilt by proving each element of the charge of domestic violence beyond a reasonable doubt. You can maintain your silence at trial and not do anything, and they cannot hold that against you or use that against you. You have the right to see, hear, or question any other witnesses if they call to testify against you at court, the right to subpoena witnesses to testify on your behalf, and the right to present testimony and defenses as to the charge being brought against you. You're currently scheduled for a pretrial conference before Judge Tony Flores, May 6th at 9:30. You should have received a notice to appear. Did you get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is he requesting the public defender to represent him on this?
Yes, he is.
Okay, the court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Are you employed?
Yes,
Where?
Echo.
What's your home address?
What?
Where do you live?
539 East Edgewood.
Is that where Mariamo Musa lives? Yeah, she lives there.
She moved to her mom's house.
When did she move?
Like a month ago.
I don't believe it. It was too long of a You're not to be in any place where she lives, works, or goes to school. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe that she doesn't live there. So where address are you gonna stay at until I can find out where she lives?
She doesn't live there. It's been about
Yeah,
3 weeks.
It's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah, a little over 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. Is her name on the lease at this address?
Yes.
So you want me to believe that her name is on the address, the lease at this address? It took you about a 4-second before you told me that she didn't live there. You want me to believe that she doesn't live there anymore?
Yeah, we have not been contacting each other.
Oh, okay. What's your phone number?
517-855-3371.
Is your name on this lease at 539 East Edgewood?
Yes,
What's the property complex?
Woodbridge Manor.
Somebody get me the property manager. I gotta confirm who lives in this property. You can have a seat.
Sit down. Grab your hat.
On the record in the matter of, or matters of the people of the city of Lansing versus Jamie Salinas Jr. 23 L2789001, 23 L2789003, 22 L2719342, 21 L2639551, 23 L2789002, 21 L2639452, 21 L2656621, 21 L2656622, 22 L2719334, 22 L2719343. Appearance, please.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Rowley appearing on behalf of Mr. Salinas for the purpose of this arraignment.
Okay, Mr. Salinas, file number ending in 451 is a failure to display an ops. File number ending in 342, failure to display an ops. And then file number ending in 001, failure to display ops. One is from a citation on or about May 20th, 2023 at 2:13 p.m. at the area of Aurelius and East Mount Hope. The other is from a date or time, April 26, 2022 at 9:56 a.m. at the area of homes in Lowcroft. And the other is from July 25th, 2021 at 5:09 p.m. at the area upon West Homes at Express Court, all in the city of Lansing, Ingham County. And then I have an improper plate in file number ending in 003. That's from the same citation from May 20th, 2023 at Aurelius and East Mount Hope. And the allegations there again of improper plate. Each of these are being prosecuted by the city attorney's office. And each of them are misdemeanors, maximum penalty 90 days in jail and or $500 in fines. You have the right to be represented by an attorney at each of those, on each of those matters. And if you can't afford an attorney, you can make a request for the public defender to represent you. You have the right to proceed to a jury trial and the right to require the city prove each element of the charges being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You can subpoena witnesses to testify on your behalf, and you have the right to maintain silence at trial and not have silence be used against you. Do you have any questions about those rights?
No, ma'am.
Is he requesting the public defender on these files?
Yes, he is.
A not guilty plea will be entered on each. Okay, you have a pretrial conference. These matters before Judge Flores. May 12th at 10:30. Did you get a notice to appear?
Yes, I got 4 of them all on the same day at the same time.
Remaining files you owe money on. You owe $306 on file number ending in 343. You owe $186 on file number ending in 341. You owe $186 on file number ending in 621. You owe $180 in file number ending in 622. You owe $180 in file number ending in 452. And you owe $264 on file number ending in 002. How much are you paying today?
I can't pay nothing today. I get paid on Friday. Kind of already missed a day of work, but I was planning on already paying 3 of those tickets off this Friday because I really need my license back because I'm a mechanic myself. So I need a vehicle to get back and forth to work and to, you know, get my son back and forth to daycare and stuff. So I was literally in the process of trying to get everything taken care of so I can get my license back.
You owe $1,302 in tickets.
Sounds about right.
On at least these ones. I don't know what else you got going on here, but how much are you paying on Friday? How much are you paying on Friday?
I can pay about $400 on Friday. The rest got to go to rent. I kind of started saving up on rent for this upcoming month. But I already paid.
When will you pay your
I get
next?
paid. I'm sorry. So sorry. I get paid every Friday, so I was planning on every Friday putting at least 400 down every time until I can get my license back. Cause that's been my main goal for the last, since I moved to my new house. I've been just trying to get everything situated.
Okay, I'm gonna note here that you're gonna pay $400 this coming Friday. You'll pay $400 per month minimum until paid in full after that, okay?
Sounds great. Sounds perfect, actually. And I can pay any of those things like before, like, doesn't matter, like I can call and pay twice in a month if I wanted to.
Absolutely. It's in your best interest to get it off as soon as possible so that your license can be cleared, because you still have several pending driving while your license is not valid that will need to be resolved.
Of course.
A bond on the remaining files in each will be 200 personal recognizance. You need to report to all of your court dates, okay, sir?
That's me.
Do you have any questions for the court?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
You're all set.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, back on the record in the matter of Ibrahim Mumba. Okay, let's see, did I give him his next court date? I think it's for before Judge Flores for pretrial, May 6th at 9:30. Counsel, you can address bond.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. After speaking with Mr. Mkumbuka, he assures me that he has lived in Lansing for around 12 years. His family is local to the area. I've seen nothing to suggest that he would be a flight risk. Also, I don't believe he has a record of violent or assaultive conduct. And although there are such allegations in this case, he assures me that he has every intention of complying with the court's orders, including expected no contact order. And I don't believe he's shown himself to be a dangerous individual in general. So for all of those reasons, my request would be a personal recognizance bond.
Bond is set at 500 personal recognizance. There is a no contact order in place for the protection of Mariamo Musa. I did make contact with the property management. Both parties are listed on the lease. They are unaware that she has no longer or vacated the property. So at this time, Mr. Mkumbuka it will be allowed to live there so long as she's not residing there. However, if the court or the law enforcement determines otherwise, you'll be arrested for violation of the no contact order. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Okay, you're not to live where she lives, you're not to be within 2,000 feet of wherever she is, you're not to have contact directly or indirectly with Mariamo Musa. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs without a prescription. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. And you're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Do you have any questions for the court?
no, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor.
You're all set. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rowley.
Thank you.